How's it going, guys? My name is Tavarish, and today I give my Aston Martin Vantage a much-needed oil change. Welcome to my garage again. Yeah. So, this Aston Martin, my Aston Martin, is finally getting an oil change. Those of you who have been fans of my channel have probably known that I haven't changed the oil on this thing, and I probably should have. Got the car with 60,000 miles right thereabouts, and I put 1,000 miles on it, and who knows when the previous owner got the last oil change. So this should be pretty telling as far as how hard the car has been driven, and I certainly drove it hard. But without further ado, this is what we need to do to change the oil on an Aston Martin V8 Vantage. It's not exactly the same thing as a regular car. It's a little bit different, and I'm gonna guide you through the entire process. So the first step is to warm up the car. Now, some people think that you just let it idle. I prefer to do it a little more interestingly. The next step is to take off the bolts for the sump and the various bypass drains. So these guys, these two bolts, these bolts right here and these bolts right here need to come off, as well as this sump plug. So this sump plug also, there's like a gasket in here to make sure that it doesn't leak oil. So this has to come off, these two have to come off, and these two. These are Torx bolts, and they're actually in pretty bad condition considering the age of this car. But in the kit I got, it comes with a replacement 10 millimeter, and those won't rust like these are obviously rusted out. So let's hope that this isn't gonna give me too much of an issue. Actually, before we start, I wanted to call attention to this cool oil lift drain rather, that I got from Harbor Freight. It's 20 gallon. It does the job well. Hopefully it does the job well. It costs enough. It was like 160 bucks. But what it does is it allows me to drain 20 gallons of fluid in here. And I can tell how much fluid is in here by this little gauge. And when that gets full, I just connect that to shop air and use this to put it in any recyclable receptacle. So that should be good. And also this is like telescoping, and it goes up and down. So basically this is just to avoid messes, and I'm a messy guy, so that's going to be a really good thing. But again, without further ado, let's get this going. Hopefully this rusted out little bolt isn't going to give me too much. Come on. Oh, there we go. That's one. And two. All right, so I'll try not to get my dainty fingers all oily. Is there actually any oil in here? Or did I just do the wrong thing? All right, so how the hell does this work? Alright, that's a bit rusty. It's not good. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go on the internet and see how to do this, because apparently I thought I knew how to do it and I don't. So, yeah, catch you later. Apparently I don't know what I'm doing, and I probably should give you a little bit of an explainer of why I'm undoing these brackets. It's because this car, unlike most cars, it has something called a dry sump oiling system. And what that means is, instead of having like this big oil sump where all the oil is situated when the car's running, it has an active, like an oil pump with a separate oil sump away from the engine. This basically means that the car can do more like high G turns and maneuvering. It's supposed to be like a race-derived thing, but it does translate into a bit of a headache when you're actually trying to change the oil. So what I'm going to do is, this is the oil sump bolt, and I'm going to take that off. It's just a regular 13 millimeter bolt. I'm going to take that off, and oil should shoot out of this thing. So hopefully we're going to get a little bit messy. And then I'm going to take off these two. These are actually oil bypass filters, and those need to be cleaned. So Okay. That comes off like that. Hopefully I don't make too much of a mess. Let me... I don't know if you guys could see, but I'm not beat for having oil in my hair right now. What's left of it. It's getting loose. And this part is just like regular car, so kind of just do one of these. There we go. That is pretty black oil. Ew. It sounds like it's taking a diarrhea dump. So this is a little bit of a shameless plug. I got this oil change kit from redpants.lol. So a little bit of a weird name for a website. But this guy, his name is Richard Sidlitz, and he has basically everything you need to do an oil change, to do a lot of DIY stuff for the V8 Vantage. So I picked up this oil change kit. It includes it includes the oil filter, 10 quarts of 8100 X Power by Motul. I think I have another one that I'm missing here, but that should be enough oil for this car. This car does take a ton of oil. It has these 10mm bolts that are for the bypass filters. Has bypass filter O-rings, and it also has the bolt that you need to take out the bypass filter. So that's that. So what you do is you thread in the bolt. I'll show you how to do that later. Thread in the bolt, you basically put some pliers on it and just wiggle it out, and it should come right out. It also comes with a new sump plug and a copper gasket. Actually, I'm not sure where this goes because I assumed that it would go on here, but this already comes with its own little rubber seal. So hopefully we don't mess this up too badly. But yeah, the oil has finished draining, and we will go put on the new sump plug. We'll take out the oil filter and hopefully go drive this thing really, really hard. I'm taking this bolt, threading it right here, and let's see. The instructions say I could just wiggle it with some pliers and it should come out. All right, actually it is coming out. Okay, so now it's moving. Ooh, Jesus. Ugh, that's nice. Such a satisfying sound. All right, so there was a fair bit of oil in that sump, and we still have to do this one. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this filter and just clean it with some brake clean, and then put it back with the new hardware. It actually doesn't look that bad, and I've heard that some filters have like metal particles inside, and for the amount of miles that this car has, it looks in astonishingly good condition. Okay, so the last part of this equation. So the last part of this equation underneath here is just getting this Aston Martin oil filter out. Now I don't have an oil filter wrench that fits this because it's like a weird pattern. Let me see if I can get my hand around it. It's gonna be fun. That's not gonna work. Maybe if I okay. That don't seem to be too good. So my channel locks have sort of wedged themselves in here, and I'm making a mess. All right, so I'm gonna wait till that drains out all over my my channel locks. And what I'm gonna try to do is I'm gonna try to stab a screwdriver through here, and then this is gonna be a nightmare. I hate when people put oil filters on way too tight. It should only be hand tight. You don't need to put these on that tightly, but for this car, there's just no clearance to get anything in there. So that's gonna be a pain in the ass. I am going to try to poke a screwdriver through this. Try not to gouge my alternator at the other side. All the while trying not to get oil all over me and my floor. This is impossible. Plan B. I'll try again with the channel locks, but I'll grip it around the outside. All right, that's enough of that. Still covered in oil, but now I have brake clean in my lungs. Come on. All right, if any of you have any comments, suggestions about how to get this shit off, then please write to me at I have lost all patience with this fucking car at Tavarish.com. All right, for those of you who are wondering why there is now a broken screwdriver hanging out of the pretty bashed up oil filter, it's because the Harbor Freight set of screwdrivers that I bought was not up to the task of removing an oil filter. So this snapped right the hell off. But I managed to get a breaker bar, which is sort of just a bar that was on my my hydraulic pump, and I moved it ever so slightly. I moved the oil filter ever so slightly, so I think now, even if it's dripping, it has made a huge mess on my floor, but I think I can get this off. I should be able to. Maybe. I don't know. Probably shouldn't have jinxed myself by saying that. So if any of you want me to send this to you as a little Tavarish piece of metal. Oh no. This is, don't tell me this is not. Uh-oh. Okay, so this might be a problem. So this little piece of metal is preventing this little piece of metal is kind of in the way. So let's bend this sucker back. Let's get more creative. Stand back. There we go. That should be good. All right. Everything in life can be solved with a hammer. And this is about that time when I realized that I got the wrong oil filter and it doesn't fit on my car. I just bludgeoned this thing to death. All right. That wasn't so bad after all. Putting on the new oil filter. Hopefully this should fit. Put a little bit of the old oil. Some people put new oil on it, but old oil doesn't really matter. Just cover this gasket. Make sure that the old gasket is on the old filter, and you just kind of slot it in there. I'm gonna clean up as much of the mating surface as possible. This one is pretty clean. Just have to get some oil off there. Just thread it in. And I think this even says hand tighten, but you should always hand tighten these things, because don't do it with a ratchet, don't do it with anything else, especially not like an impact gun or something. So you want to make sure it's quite tight by hand, but not anything crazy, because there is a pretty decent seal. I'm not trying to over tighten it, it's just my hands are all oily, and trying to overcome that. But that should be good. We're going to check for oil leaks underneath the car, but everything, I'll give you a little tour. So change this out. That's one of the bypass filters, and this is another one. And I changed out the Torx. I think it's a T30 Torx bit. We changed out the Torx for 10 mils with some just generic washers. Those should be good. Sump plug is new, and everything down here is done. I'm gonna go back up top and pretty much just put in a whole bunch of oil and start the car, and hopefully nothing blows up. The moment of truth is here. This is the awesome 4.3 liter V8 derivative of the Jaguar AJ. It's a little bit different in that you don't put oil in the actual engine. You put it in the sump system. At least that's the idea. So I'm using Motul 8100 X Power 10W60. Now Aston Martin use Castrol. I think they use a 10W60 derivative, like a TWS, something like a BMW M5 would use. But this is people recommend this more. This is more like a race-derived thing. This is better for high RPMs, and this does get up to like 7,500 RPM. And I want to make sure that this car is very safe. Well, this engine is very safe while I get up there. So let's actually, how the hell do I open this up? Now that I got this open, just a matter of filling this up. This is going to take 9.5 quarts, somewhere around there. It's like 9.5 to 10. So this is 5 quarts. I'm basically just going to fill 2 of these, well, almost 2, and then check the oil. And this might take a little bit. Now that we have around 9 liters of quite expensive oil in this car, I'm going to turn on the car for 20 seconds, let all the oil go into the engine from the dry sump system, then leave it alone for about 30 seconds and then check the oil again. All right, so it needs just about maybe 1/4 of a quart. So I'm gonna add that, and then we should be good to go. Now we got the oil change. There is 9.5 liters, not quarts, liters inside this engine, and it's time to give it a little bit of a shakedown. So take it to a nice road and drop it down a gear. Job done. This car's so much fun. And that is the end of the video. So as always, like, comment, subscribe, thumbs down if you didn't like the video, but thumbs up if you did. Yeah, stay tuned, because next time, that's when I